Hi and welcome to Outwell and to the Vermont LP from our premium collection. It's a large tunnel designed family tent. It's aimed to sleep up to 5 people. It has a configuration where the bedrooms are at the back. We then have a sealed living area in the middle and this large panoramic room at the front, which we'll show you in detail shortly. Firstly though, with it being in our premium collection, you'll find the fly sheet that we're using on here is our Outex 6000. So this is a good quality, durable taffeta polyester. It's been fully PU coated on the inside of it, and all of the seams have been fully taped to ensure that it's totally waterproof. And it has a hydrostatic head of 6,000 millimeters, ensuring that you can be safe in the knowledge that even in really heavy rainfall you're going to stay dry within this tent. The frame that we use on here from front to back is a steel frame, so pretty much as solid as you're going to get in terms of framed tents. Also what's quite important here is every single pole from front to back is identical, so when it comes to pitching the tent you should find that nice and easy to do as well. What we also add to the tent is our wind stabilizer system, so that's going to add a lot of stability to the tent, so we'll just take you through how that works here. So when we're setting the tent up, all we have to do is simply wrap these around the poles like this. You find that there's one at the top and at the bottom of every pole around the tent here, and this is where our guy lines are attached. So when we pull the guy lines out and peg them into position, what that's going to do is take all of the fly sheet and pull it against the frame of the tent, making the whole thing a lot more taut, therefore a lot more stable. So that, coupled with that steel frame that I was talking about there, has enabled us to test this tent up to a speed of 10, force 10 on the Beaufort scale. So really, again, safe in the knowledge that you're going to be perfectly fine in this tent, even in high wind conditions. So some other features to point out then, we have these large ventilation panels down the side of the tent, obviously on both sides, and there's some more at the back as well. So just under here you'll see that we have some mesh ventilation paneling, which is just going to allow cool, fresh air into the tent. If it gets a little bit too chilly, then we can just take this away simply by removing the Velcro tabs and then pushing down on the outside panel. Some other nice features to highlight, we have reflective points all the way around the tent, so at night when you have your head torch on, or if you have a handheld torch, then you're going to be able to see these will light up for you nice and bright. We also have our luminous guy lines throughout the tent as well, just to ensure that hopefully they should be a little bit easier for you to see again when it's darker, so hopefully you're not going to trip over them quite as easily. Each guy line has its own retainer, so when it comes to packing down the tent, you can simply wrap up the guy lines and pop them in here, so that the next time you come to use it, they're nice and easily accessible. Something else that we supply with the tent is our easy pegging system. This is where we have 3 different types of pegs that come with the tent. So we have the solid steel anchor peg here, and that would go into the corners of the tent, and that's through the grey pegging points. We have the black plastic pegs for all the rest of the pegging points around the side of the tent, which are all colour coded black. And we have the luminous peg to go with the luminous guy lines as well, just ensuring that it's nice and easy for you to get the right peg in the right place. So just another few highlights on the outside of the tent here. We have these mud valances which run all the way around the front panorama room, and that's just going to allow any water to run down and away from the inside of that area. Now, one thing I just want to point out here, it's called the Vermont LP. Now the P doesn't stand for premium, although it is in our premium collection. The P stands for panoramic. Now you might have heard me already mention this panorama room, and the reason we call it this is because we have this curved front to the tent here, and on every single panel you'll find we have these large windows, and what that's going to allow is panoramic views from within the tent. One thing I want to point out as well is that the windows are all tinted, so that's going to serve 2 key functions. One is that it's going to reduce the amount of glare from the sun inside the tent, and the second is obviously that you're going to get a little bit more privacy within there as well. Something else I want to highlight just at the front of the tent here is we have quite a unique door. So obviously we have the main middle door panel rolled up at the moment, but what you can do with this tent is roll up the 2 side panels either side of this as well to create an even bigger front area. Or obviously from here you can also just choose to open one of the 3 doors if needs be. Another great feature is then that the panels either side of these 2 sort of side panels here can then be rolled back to open up fully, almost to create a sort of front extension sort of feel at the front of the tent. So these you can just roll up to the top, and then the 2 panels either side of those, as I say, you can roll back and just create a real open fronted tent to maybe bring a little bit of the outside to the inside of your tent. So a nice feature here as well is the front door is obviously of a good size, so it's going to be nice and easy for you to be able to bring all of your kit in and out of the tent, and also it is a full walk-in height as well. I'm quite tall and I don't really have to duck down too much to get into this tent. So this front area here, as I've mentioned, we call this our panorama room. Now it's a great area for storage, or perhaps for table and chairs and things like that, to be able to socialise out in this area. It does come with this ground sheet which just toggles into position. It's exactly the same material as what we use in the back of the tent. So what you would expect this to be is fully waterproof, and yep, it absolutely is. It's got a minimum hydrostatic of 10,000 millimetres, and as I say, this just toggles in. It is bathtub in style, so it comes up around the edges a little bit there just to reduce the amount of draft in this front area. So I've already mentioned all of the windows all the way around the tent to give you these great panoramic views, but if you want a little bit more privacy, or if you want to reduce the amount of light that's coming into the tent, then you can just simply use the zips on each of the curtains just to pull up the curtains to the desired level, obviously giving you that privacy or enabling you to keep out too much light. Also, I just want to highlight here, we have two hanging rails in this front area, so really handy maybe for tea towels, any wet clothing or anything like that. Keep them out the way of your nice sealed area just behind us here. So the front of the tent and the middle section are divided by this large dividing wall here. Quite a nice feature on here is that we have large ventilation panels on this, so you can have that open fronted style tent and still have great ventilation throughout the tent because of these large panels. Obviously it is just zipped in place, so at the top and at the bottom, so you can choose as to whether this is going to be fully open or obviously halfway, or of course it can be fully closed over as well. So stepping through into the sealed section of the tent, I think one thing that should come across as being quite apparent is just how much space there is in here. I mentioned earlier on that I'm quite tall. I'm about 6'3", and you can see above me I've got loads of head height here, and there's still plenty of space around us as well for tables and chairs and things like that. Storage is taken care of for you already in this tent because we supply you with this walk-in wardrobe here, which also has a hanging rail at the top. So a really good, handy, versatile space. Obviously you don't have to use this, but it is supplied with the tent as well. So I've already mentioned the ground sheet at the front, and just to highlight from here that the ground sheet in here is exactly the same material as what we use in the front there, so double coated polyethylene, again, durable and completely waterproof. The difference in this area is that all the way around me here is it's fully sealed, so you're not going to get any drafts coming in here. You're going to keep out things like dirt, dust and sand, and hopefully, more importantly, keep out those unwanted bugs too. At the back of the tent is where we have our bedrooms, and as I mentioned earlier on, the tent can sleep up to 5 people. I think what's quite an important point here actually is that these bedrooms come pre-attached, so it's a job you don't need to worry about. They're already in place for you. How we attach them to the tent is using our wave-shaped hanging point system, which you can just see across the top here. Now, whilst this is stylish and has a certain amount of design element to it, it also has a functionality in that it takes any of the stress away from that seam at the top of the bedroom. Some other features just to highlight them: we have some handy storage pockets on the outside of the bedrooms. The bedroom doors have these good sized ventilation panels, so again, ventilation is taken care of here. There is a curtain on the reverse side of this which we've closed over at the moment, so you can still have privacy in there as well. Inside the bedrooms, another few features just to highlight. At the back there is a large ventilation panel which corresponds to the outside panels. The ceiling is a night sky ceiling, so it's a dark material, making sure that hopefully you're not going to get woken up by bright sunshine first thing in the morning. Down in the back corner here you can see that we have some handy mesh storage pockets which are ideal for smaller personal possessions. And we also have a low light window in the bedroom as well, just to allow you to have a little look outside without actually having to leave the comfort of your bed. In the middle here you can see that the bedrooms are separated with this fully zipped sheet. Now obviously this can be opened up to create one large bedroom, or of course, as we have done here, to separate the two bedrooms. Another great feature on here is that we use our universal bedroom system. So this is where we have these zips just in the middle of the two bedrooms here, so that we can drop this side down completely, giving you even more space, and we'll just show you now how that works. So at the top of the tent in the middle here, you can see that we have a lantern hanging point in a good central location. Coming away from that, we then have cable tidies which run all the way down to the bottom here of the door, which is where you'll find the small zip just here to allow you to bring in cables from the outside while still being able to have the door closed. So just while I'm here, I will highlight that obviously we have two side doors on the Vermont LP, so there's one here and one on the opposite side, both of which have full mesh doors as well. So again, great opportunity for good ventilation here too. So we have a few optional extras available for the tent, including two different styles of carpet for this area here. We have a fleece carpet and we also have a 3-layered insulated carpet, just to give you a little bit more comfort underfoot. There's also a footprint available that will go under the whole tent, and how you would use that, you would start by popping that down on the ground and then pitching your tent on top of it. That way when it comes to taking the tent down, you're going to be doing that on the footprint. So you're going to be keeping your ground sheet at the front and your steel ground sheet at the back totally dry and totally clean. We also have a side awning available for the Vermont LP if you fancied a little bit more space on the outside, perhaps storage or socialising space. And we also have a roof protector available for it as well. So that's all of the features and all of the optional extras available for the Vermont LP from the Premium Collection. Thanks very much for watching.